Hey guys, Justine here of Figatech. And in case the Realme 9 Pro isn't looking enough for you, then you can check out this Realme 9 Pro Plus. It features a few flagship specs, especially in its camera department with a 50-megapixel Sony IMX766 OIS main sensor. Now, despite the flashy specs and design, the question is, what makes it Pro Plus? Is it really a better option than its lower Pro model? Let's find out in this review. By the way, we created a separate review for the classic Realme 9 Pro version, so if you want to check that out, click here on the upper right corner or in the description box. Alright, starting with the build and design. When holding the phone, it feels comfortable and light to grip. We get a plastic frame and a glass back which gives a more premium touch compared to the polycarbonate build of the lower Realme 9 Pro. Speaking of which, the Realme 9 Pro and Pro Plus share the same style language and color variants. What we have here is in the Aurora Green colorway, while other versions available are Midnight Black and a fun sunrise blue that changes color from light blue to red when exposed to sunlight. It's pretty cool. Meanwhile, this Aurora Green color flaunts a glowing light glass back which looks like subtle shimmering stars. It's not as bold as the text design on the Realme 8 series, but it looks more classy and it does make a hell of an impression. Found on the upper left corner is its protruding square camera module to house its triple rear cameras and LED flash. Then for buttons and ports, on the right side is the power trigger while the volume rocker is placed on the left side. Personally, I'm used to having all the buttons on the right side, so it can take some getting used to, unless you prefer this setup. You can also find on the left side its dual nano SIM card slot with no space for a micro SD card. There's a secondary noise cancelling microphone at the top of the phone, then at the bottom we are greeted with the down-firing stereo speaker, the USB Type-C port, the main microphone, and the handy 3.5mm headphone jack. Flipping to its display, the Realme 9 Pro Plus sports a 6.4-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED screen with thin bezels and a little bit of a chin. On the upper bezel, of course, is the call speaker that's also utilized as a secondary speaker. And then, as you can see, the front camera is placed on the upper left corner on a punch hole notch, while on the lower part of the panel is the in-display fingerprint scanner. We also get Gorilla Glass 5 for protection and an additional screen protector pre-installed. When it comes to quality, it's more similar to the AMOLED display of the Realme 8 Pro, since the lower Realme 9 Pro has a slightly bigger IPS 120Hz display. Specifically, this panel features a 2400 by 1080 pixels resolution, HDR10 support, and up to a 90Hz refresh rate that can be adjusted in the settings to the standard 60Hz or on auto select. Now, this display offers good viewing angles and it is vibrant, which is expected as it has an AMOLED panel. The colors look vivid and blacks look pleasingly inky. To top it all off, it also comes with a 360Hz touch sampling rate, making this not only highly responsive to your fingers but also gives a better edge when it comes to something like gaming. And as for sound quality, its down-firing loudspeaker and earpiece can get really loud for a small room. The quality is mostly balanced between the highs and mids, though with almost no bass unless you cup your hands against the grills, which is a little bit expected on this type of phone. Checking out software, the Realme 9 Pro Plus is one of the first Realme smartphones that's running on Android 12 skinned with Realme UI 3.0. The interface still has some resemblance to Realme UI 2.0 with some improvements on customization options, multitasking features, and even a more fluid experience. However, there is still a number of bloatware and pre-installed apps such as Google, Booking.com, Facebook, Messenger, Agoda, TikTok, and Lazada, which you can always uninstall if you don't plan on using them. There are tons of customization options here where you can change icon styles, app layout, fingerprint style, font, and colors. There's also an option in the settings to toggle the home screen app arrangement and gesture navigation. As for other features, there's dark mode, digital well-being and parental controls, smart driving, riding mode, and mini window or flexible window for compatible apps. Out of the 256GB of storage that we get, about 231GB is available right out of the box. And as I've mentioned earlier, this device doesn't have a dedicated microSD card slot, so there's no expandable storage here. Alright, when it comes to performance, under the hood, this phone is equipped with a 5G-ready MediaTek Dimensity 920 chipset, together with a Mali G68MC4 GPU, and locally it's available with 8GB of RAM with 2, 3, or 5GB of RAM expansion. Within its range, there's no doubt that this is a high-performing phone that can breezily handle daily tasks without any stutters. It can even handle heavy graphic games like Asphalt 9 and Genshin Impact well with only rare hiccups under the highest settings. The Realme 9 Pro Plus also has a vapor chamber-based cooling system that keeps the device cool, or rather not too hot when gaming or when doing various multitasking. If you're interested in the benchmark scores that we got, check out our written review linked in the description box. When it comes to biometrics and security, you can unlock the device with an in-display fingerprint scanner and face unlock. Generally, they both work fast, but the fingerprint scanner is oddly placed lower than expected, so it can take some adjustment. Then again, it's still reliable. Connectivity-wise, this 9 Pro Plus is ready with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.2, NFC, dual 5G, 4G LTE, OTG, and GPS. Keeping everything running is a 4,500 mAh capacity, and on average use, it is good enough to last throughout the day. It even lasted me 2.5 days on light usage. Then for juicing this phone up, it supports an upgraded 60-watt super dart charging that only takes about 45 minutes to reach from 0 to 100%. It's one of the significant upgrades that we get over the lower Realme 9 Pro that has 33 watts fast charging. If you're interested in the battery test results that we got, read our article linked in the description box below. Now, one of the main highlights of this phone is its cameras. The Realme 9 Pro Plus has a triple camera setup at the back composed of a Sony IMX766 50MP OIS main, an 8MP ultra-wide, and a 2MP macro lens. For selfies, there's the 16MP front camera. In our experience, the cameras provided us with awesome daylight photos with very good colors and sharpness. Its HDR works great, but we still suggest taking multiple shots or focusing the phone correctly as it has tendencies to look overexposed. If you're into high contrast and saturated shots, you'll definitely appreciate the Realme 9 Pro Plus's camera quality. Meanwhile, the quick zoom toggles from 2 times to 5 times, but it's still capable of zooming in up to 20 times just in case you need it. Of course, its quality will be sacrificed, but you can just use the 50MP mode if you want to capture more details and overall a high-quality photo. As for the ultra-wide camera, it allows you to take wider scenes at a similar quality as the main sensor, with almost no distortion. We also appreciate how there's not much fisheye effect in the results we got. One of the things we like most about its cameras is its portrait mode. Most of the time, it provides on-point subject-background separation, plus you can adjust the aperture to what you prefer. Moreover, we were also impressed with its 50MP wide Sony IMX766 OIS main camera with a single 1.0 micrometer large pixel. It processes a very good amount of light intake that helps improve low-light or night photography to look crisper, cleaner, and well-lit. It's highly recommendable for nighttime neon light shots as well as night sky shots by using the starry mode. Speaking of which, the starry mode is great, but do note that you need to keep the phone really steady for 4 minutes to achieve a stunning shot. It's best to use it with a tripod or place the phone on a stable surface. Checking out some selfies, its 16MP front shooter works best under natural lighting, falling more on cooler tones. The skin tone tends to alter in rare scenarios, but most of the time, it worked fine. With very good lighting or sunlight, you can get a natural-looking photo. As for videos, you can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second, and the quality looks sharp with boosted colors. If you want to kick it up a notch, then you can turn on the AI for videos, which is limited to 1080p at 30 frames per second. Okay, to wrap things up, let's talk about the price. Locally, this Realme 9 Pro Plus now has an SRP of 23,990 pesos. It got some minor upgrades from the regular 9 Pro version that can cater specific users' wants such as better cameras, faster charging, and a more vibrant AMOLED display. Unless these aren't a big deal for you, then the lower 9 Pro might be a better choice. Or yet you can still even consider last year's Realme 8 Pro if 5G connectivity isn't your priority. But all in all, the Realme 9 Pro Plus is a well-rounded device. If you have the budget for it, I'm sure it won't disappoint. And yeah, that wraps up this video. How about you guys? What do you think of this Realme 9 Pro Plus? Would you buy one? Let us know in the comments below. And like usual, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Justin, and don't forget to wash your hands and stay safe.